Mr. JSR in the studio, my man. Welcome to the Betar Project. How you feeling?
I'm feeling grateful. I'm feeling very grateful to be here.
Yep.
I was very fortunate enough to see this before it got put up, and it's really good to see it here. So yeah, man, I'm feeling good. I know we've got so much to talk about, so yeah, man, I'm keen. Keen to get in, bro. I'm keen to get in. I'm grateful here.
Welcome to God's country, baby.
If anyone's watching this right now, go to God's country.
That's it, bro.
Blue Mountains.
Blue Mountains, God country. What are you grateful for today, man?
Grateful. Oh, yes, gratefuls. Okay, one thing I am grateful for right now is, bro, I'm grateful for you, man. Yeah, I'm grateful for you.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
We pretty much hung out since, what, 6:30ish today?
Yeah, 6:30.
Yeah. So we'll hear...
That's 6:30 a.m.
Yeah, 6:30 a.m.
We're on the grind early, baby.
So pretty much, yeah, we got a gym sesh, and then after that, had a hike session. And I think as I was driving here, the first question I was asking myself was, like, why am I doing this? And that's usually the question you ask yourself when you wake up early. You're like, why am I doing this? Why am I training in early mornings? Or why am I, like, even today I was asking, like, why am I driving here? I could be doing something else right now, but I've made a decision to come here. So from that, do you want to do it again?
Nah, I'm recording on that. It's all right too. I just want that's backup.
Wait, so what happened?
I didn't press it. But it's recording through the computer anyway.
Oh, so is it both?
Yeah, this is backup.
All good.
I'll just cut that out.
If you want, you can start again if you want. Okay.
We had a good flow going.
All right, cool. Yeah, so as I was saying, went to the gym today, also done a hike session. And as we're going through that, I was always asking like myself the question, why am I here? And yeah, man, I started to realize that you're a very genuine dude. And I don't think a lot of people would say that to you because you're just that genuine. So yeah, man, I would say most important, I'm grateful for you, man. Grateful for the relationship that we built, and I'm very excited for this podcast because I think there's a lot of nuggets that we're going to receive more, and then the people going to receive it too. So yeah, that's my grateful, man.
Grateful.
Very grateful.
Let's go.
Grateful.
This is our thing, bro. This is our thing. Grateful. Nah, man. What am I grateful for?
Yeah, what are you grateful for, man? This is your show, bro.
It's my show, man. I'm grateful for you making the trip out here.
Got you, bro.
Not many people do it, Not many people make the trip up here. They're like, when I say, I'm in the Blue Mountains, like, it's a bit too far. Can we do it over Zoom or something like that? I'm like, man, it just hits different in person, bro. Especially when we go to a gym session, we go do a fucking awesome hike, bro. And come here, smash out a podcast. It's different. So grateful for you making the trip, man.
I'm grateful, man. I'm grateful. And I would love to let the people know out there that if you're a guest and you ever get the opportunity to come into the studio, I highly encourage you. I really do. Yeah. I'd encourage you to come to God's country, quote unquote. Come to the Blue Mountains, man. I do truly believe in. I come from a podcasting background anyway, so I understand that being in physical form, even though I think I only done 2 or 3, but I understand how it is. It's just different.
The like energy, you just vibing.
You can feel it, but on Zoom, it's like it's not as like you can still get the connection. You're getting people's stories, but it just hits different when you're in person. So yeah, anyone out there that's gonna be jumping on, get in the room.
That's it, bro. That's it. And we're recording this as of Monday, the 27th.
Yes.
And we just mentioned we did a hike. We went to Wetmore Falls. Valley of Waters. How'd you find it? Did you enjoy it?
You know what? I would say that I overestimated myself.
Yeah.
Today, as I was climbing up, coming back, I was really questioning myself. Like, why did I think that it was gonna be this easy? Because it was not easy. Like my legs are quite.
What do you want about, bro? It was tense. Easy.
Yeah, for you, man. Oh my gosh. But no, I was like, as I was coming up, I was really thinking about, my legs. Like I was just feeling tired. But yeah, I would say I'm very grateful. Not only am I want to say it again. I'm not only just grateful to be here, but I'm grateful for the experience that I was able to have this morning, especially with you, bro.
And
hiding away.
thing is, for the listeners, this is our first time actually meeting in person.
Yeah.
We've been chatting on Instagram Live, Zoom calls, everything for the last how many months?
Bro, it's been like a year
or
like
so.
Two, yeah.
And today is the first time we've met in person, and we've just hit it off, and we've just clicked, bro. They're the same on camera, off camera. We're the same, bro.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, I actually felt that already. Like, even prior to me coming here, I was already saying in my head, I was like, oh, I already have that connection. And then as I got out of the car, I was like, no, I haven't actually met Nikki in person, but we've connected so often, either through Zoom calls or like Instagram. And so in the end, I was like to myself, no, I know this guy. I just haven't seen him in person, which is crazy because I realized with social media, that's how social media is. It's like, you know them by face, you know them by, I guess, the life that they live, but it hits different when you come in together.
That's it, bro. And the first thing you do is fucking scare me.
Yeah, I got that on camera too. So, yeah, I'll give that to you.
Oh, but anyways, man, like 2021's coming to an end. What a fucking year, bro. How quick has it gone?
Oh, yeah. It has its highs and lows. But yeah, I would say for sure it has quickened. It really has quickened, and yeah, I'm keen. I'm keen to get into this. I'm keen to get into this podcast.
Yeah, bro. Like, for you, what are some of the big things that you achieved, but at the beginning of the year you didn't quite think that you would achieve it, or it wasn't even on your mind that you... Because for both of us, like, we've done a lot this year, and for me personally, at the beginning of the year, like, looking back now, a lot of this stuff wasn't even on my goals list at the beginning of the year. I'm like, fuck, I've achieved what I've achieved, and it's just about working hard and surrounding yourself with good people, and good shit just manifests into your life.
Yeah. I'm probably gonna talk about. I'll probably say 75. I'm like doing 75 hard and the Live Hard program, like the whole thing.
Yeah, for people though who don't know what that is, what the hell, who Andy Frisella is, any of that, quick overview. What is 75 hard? What is Live Hard?
So the 75 hard is, first of all, it is not a physical transformational challenge. Mm-hmm. That's the first thing that Andy Frisella is the creator. Shout out to him. And he created this kind of program that really helps you with mental toughness. And I was fortunate enough to start it around this time last year. And pretty much it's like a few critical tasks that you got to do. You got to follow a diet. You got to have no cheat meals, no alcohol. You have to do 2 45-minute workouts. What else is there? You have to drink 4 liters of water. They say 1 gallon, but it's obviously American. Switch it over, 4 liters. You got to take a progress photo, and you got to read 10 pages of a personal development book. So these are like just daily critical tasks that will enable you to build on mental toughness. And I won't spoil it, because I know that you're probably going to talk about it anyways. But that's pretty much in a nutshell what the 75 Hard program is. And keyword, it's a program. That's something that Andy Frisella always talks about, is that it's like a lot of people call it challenge, even though it is called challenge. But he loves it to be called like a 75
It's a lifestyle kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and I can tell you right now, it was probably one of the toughest keyword programs that I've done. And yeah, I would say that was probably one thing I was very surprised that I completed. Like, I completed even the 75 hard program in itself, but also going the whole way.
What made you want to start it in the first place?
Oh, it's crazy. I actually posted up on my Instagram page what really made me start. But during the course of 2020, there were certain people on social media that were doing it.
Yep.
They were posting on their socials. They were every day just keeping, like, they were utilizing social media as an accountability. And you know, it's just like any marketing strategy out there. It's like once you see it often, it kind of like rings in. And you
want to be a part of it.
Yeah, and I remember it was around December, and there was this particular photo that one of my mates had taken, and I was at a Bucks night, like, or Bucks weekend, and we're at the beach, and I remember, like, at that time, I thought I was fit. I thought I looked fit. And so here I am in my little bubble in my head, being all confident. And then I remember asking him, like, hey, bro, can you take a photo? Like, do videos? Like, you can do whatever you want. And I remember, like, a few days later, I was looking at it and I was like, who's that? I was like, who the heck is that? I was like, because in my head, I was like, that is not me. But reality kicked in and I was like, wow, like, I actually thought that I was fit. I thought I looked a certain way, but I didn't. And then I was like, well, first of all, I asked the question, why? Like, why did I think why did I think I was fit? And why did I think I looked fit? And the answer that I said is like, oh, because I see myself and I see my body every single day. The way, like, based on the angle, I see it like that. But obviously when you see it from a different angle, you start to see the reality of exactly how you look. And like, I'm going to be real. Like, I looked at myself and I was like, yeah, I don't actually like the way that I look. And so give it pretty much a few days later and I ended up just starting 75 hard.
How much did you weigh?
At that time I was weighing, from what I could remember, I was 125 then.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing you're going to ask how much I dropped.
Yeah.
By the end of the, like, 75 hard, I went from 125 to 115.
Okay.
So it's pretty much 10 kilos.
That's good.
But at the same time, the transformation that I received from 75 hard, it wasn't much of the physical transformation, but it was a mental, like, it was a mental toughness.
The physical is the bonus on top.
Yeah, and I was already inclined, like, mentally that like that was going to happen. And so the whole time I was just focusing specifically on the mental toughness. Like, things like going into doing your second workout in the 40-degree heat. I was going to the gym in the morning, but in the afternoon I was doing my second workout in the 40-degree heat. And like, those challenges were coming out. And that was what I was wanting. I was wanting more so the mental challenges, more so of the physical challenges. But then, obviously, as you start to go through, you're like, no, you know what? I actually don't mind the physical challenges. So yeah, that was pretty much a nutshell the story on what made me start. I looked at myself and truth just came up to me. And I realized that, yeah, I thought I looked like a certain way, but I didn't. And then, obviously, as I finished the 75 hard challenge or program, I started to realize that this whole reason as to why I did it wasn't necessarily the physical transformation, although that's the reason why I started it.
Yeah.
As I started to go along the journey and finishing, I started to realize that the main reason why I was wanting to do it is because I didn't actually like the mental self that I was at that time. And as I was going through the transformational journey, especially like mentally, I was more mentally stable and mentally prepared for what was going to come at me by the end of 75 hard than where I was before.
Yeah. So then it goes 75 hard, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3.
Mm-hmm.
What made you want to keep doing those phases?
Great question.
Because a lot of people finish 75 hard and that's it.
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, that's the common thing, right? Like, if you have done 75 hard or if you ever heard of it, let's say 8, 9 times out of 10, people are just going to do the 75 hard and that's it.
That's if they finish 75 hard.
Exactly. Yeah. Because it's not an easy program though. It's not an easy program to complete. But anyways, moving forward, the one thing that really wanted me to continue to do phase 1, 2, and 3 was the fact that, number one, not everyone did it. And a lot of the people in my circle that did do 75 hard did not do phase 1, 2, or 3. And I'm like that. Like, that's how I am. It's like, if no one's doing it, I'm willing to take the stab at it and go hard. No puns intended. But yeah, like, so for me, I ended up doing the whole Live Hard program. But the thing is, though, I didn't actually say to myself, yeah, I'm going to do the whole Live Hard program on day one of the 75 hard. It was actually going through 75 hard, and I was questioning the whole time, should I? And then as I started to slowly get to the end, that's when I made the decision.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, I'm going to go into phase 1, but I actually didn't say just that, as I said, oh, I'm going to do the whole thing.
May as well just do it, eh?
Yeah, but the thing is, though, I didn't tell people that I was going to do the whole thing. I just said, I'm just going to do phase 1. And then, obviously, once phase 2 happened, like, I was doing it as I was going. I didn't actually make the decision straight away. I just said, I'm going to do the whole thing. And I didn't tell everyone. I was just like, as it started to go. And I think also, as I started to listen to like a lot of Andy Fraser's podcast, and what he was saying about the 75 hard and all the, more so the mental transformations that people were going through, it started to make me a lot more hungry to do the whole thing. So, yeah, that was pretty much in a nutshell.
What were some of the hardest and easiest parts of it all?
You know what? Let's start off with the easy one. The easy one for me, crazy enough, was the water. Like
I found that hard, bro, because I was going to the toilet every 2 seconds. I'm like, nah, I can't.
Well, like, let me say to you why, though. Like, the reason why water for me was the easiest one was because, like, I've always been the kid, or I guess, like, when I was playing rugby and stuff, I was always the one that was, like, just, all I drank was water. Like, short story, or quick story, I remember when I was playing hard maths, and there was this 1 year, I think it was 2013, I was playing up in age. I made the commitment to say to myself, I'm only going to drink water for a whole year. And I did it. Yeah, I ended up drinking water. And that was like the starting block of me just getting into the habit of drinking water. And then after that, I just started to love water. And it was more so like just choices, like making better choices of drinking. I'd rather choose to drink water than soda. I'd rather, drink water than, let's say, alcohol.
Yeah.
I don't drink alcohol, by the way. Which is probably another thing, eh? Like, that's probably another thing that was easy too. Like, because that's probably one thing I forgot, actually. One of the critical tasks is, like, no cheat meal and alcohol. The reason why I didn't say it is because I don't drink, so.
Yeah.
But, yeah, the easy part, I would say, was the water. And the reason why is because I have this big, thick bottle here, as you can see in the camera.
Yeah, how many is that? Is that 2 liter bottle?
It's actually 2.2.
2.2, okay.
And so pretty much all I do is I drink 2. That's it.
Okay.
Because it's more. It's more than.
Do you have like a little alarm on your phone that says drink, drink, drink?
Nah. So literally, like, one of the things that, like, and this is like a quick tip for anyone out there that's wanting to do 75 hard or like any challenge that consists of you drinking water. Like, one tip that really helped me out was training. And always like training and training hard, because when you train hard, it requires you to get thirsty. And that was like kind of like my trigger. And I used to always say to myself that, like, when I'm at the gym, I want to finish that bottle.
Yeah. So
I would say I want to finish like 2.2 liters before I finish. And I actually train in the morning, so that gives you more time.
Yeah.
So that's what helped me out to drink, to get into the water. But that was probably the easy one. The only thing that was hard about that, though, is the consistent trips to the toilet.
I always left it to, like, at night time to finish my water. Man, I'd be up just pissing.
Yeah, so I remember there was this one time, I think it was during phase 3, I was drinking. I had this bottle, actually. First of all, I woke up late, and I didn't start my first workout until like 1:00 p.m.
Oh shit!
Yeah. It was 1:00 p.m. and then obviously, like, in the challenge, you got to wait like 3 hours until you do your second one. And done my second one, but then I looked at the time. It was like 6 o'clock, and I didn't even get like halfway through my first bottle of water. And so I knew straight away. I was like, "Oh yeah, this is gonna be hard." And I actually went to sleep at like probably say 11:30, 12, because all I was doing was drinking. Yeah, drinking water. So that was my fault, but it was only one off though. I didn't do it consistently.
You learned your lesson.
I learned my lesson from that, and it was in phase 3, by the way. It wasn't in 75 hard. There was just this one day I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna just start things late, and then obviously you had the repercussions. So yeah, I would say that was the easy part, was drinking the water. The hard part.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. So I would say, like, I'm just gonna use the 75 hard critical task, because the others are different. Like, obviously you have the cold showers and stuff. Yeah. But like, if we're talking 75 hard, I would say the difficult one for me was, funny enough, it was the taking a progress photo.
Yeah, I failed it because of that.
Yeah,
because I forgot.
Taking progress photo. I remember one time, it was in January. Yeah, this year actually, and I had a time where I was in bed, just ready to go to sleep. It was 11 o'clock, and I have this thing called a habit tracker, and so I was habit tracking everything, and then I looked and I was like, "Where's my photo? Where's my photo?" And so, like, as in like the tick, like I had no tick there. And so what I did was I went onto my photo, like on my phone, and then I seen that I had a photo there, but it wasn't for today. It was the day before. And so, yeah, at 11:30 p.m., getting ready to go to sleep. You wouldn't believe it though. I actually got up and went to the mirror and took a photo.
Yeah, most people are like, "Fuck it, it's just a photo. I'm going to
Exactly. Sleep." I took a photo and then literally went into bed and went to sleep.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I don't think a lot of people when people hear that, like that story, the first thing that they're saying to themselves is like, okay, like we get it, like you've done it. But they don't understand that there's actually a lesson that you can learn from that particular moment, which is, and I shared this to you a couple of hours ago, which was following instructions. Like if the instruction says for you to take a progress photo, take it.
Yeah.
Right, just do it, because it's actually teaching you a fundamental lesson that you probably don't know, which is the fact that you probably don't look at the little things as much as you look at the big things in life. You're too busy focusing on the big things in life. Let's say, for example, social media, wanting to be famous and stuff, but you can't even focus on the little things like greeting someone.
Yeah, we just push to the side.
Or even the little things like having a routine or waking up early. And so that was a lesson I learned from that.
Yeah.
So that's what I'd say would be the hard part behind that.
What would be some lessons that you learned maybe about yourself during that? Because a full year of it, it's a lot of discipline to get that done.
Yes. Well, before I do share, I probably want to share a bit about what the Live Hard program is.
Yeah.
So that people know. So the Live Hard program, it's a whole program. It's a yearly program that Andy Frisella created, and it starts off with 75 Hard, which is a 75-day program, and then after that you got your phase 1, and then your phase 2, and then obviously phase 3. Now, phase 1 you can start at any time of your yearly cycle. I started it 2 days later, like after I finished 75 Hard. 2 days later, went in. And then when it comes to phase 2, you have to wait for 30 days. So once you finish phase 1, you have to give yourself at least 30 days to start phase 2. And also too, like the daily critical tasks are different in each, except for phase 2. Phase 2 is actually the same as 75 Hard. It's just for 30 days.
Yeah.
And then phase 3 is probably the toughest one, which has like everything that you've done throughout the year. I'll probably say 3/4 of the critical task. And you actually do that 30 days prior to your 1 year cycle. So I started it in December 15th, 2020, and then I finished it on December 15th, 2021. Okay. Yeah, so that's what phase 3 is. So Andy Frisella doesn't really explain that though. Like, he doesn't explain fully, like in depth. But for a person that has done it, that's pretty much in the way that the Live Hard program is created.
Yep.
So back to your question.
Lessons,
right? So the biggest lesson that I learned is James Clear says this, right? You do not rise on the level of your goals, you fall on the level of your systems. If it wasn't for the systems that I created, for me personally, from the workouts, which you already had seen, like the Anytime Fitness app that I use, I had a habit tracker that I was following. Things like water, like I had a system where I was like, all I gotta do is drink 2.2 liters of water. For me, it was just understanding that, okay, yes, the 75 Hard program is gonna be hard, but if I just create if I just cut it into little pieces, like the task, and put it as an outline and make it a routine, a lifestyle routine actually, then that will become a lot more simple and I wouldn't say easy because it's not easy. I would say it's simple. And that's what I was learning, as I was doing the program, was that, you do not rise on the level of your goals, you fall on the level of your systems. I had a goal that I wanted to achieve, but it wasn't the goal that got me to the goal. It was actually the systems that I had each and every day, the little micro habits that compounded in order for me to get to where I'm at right now. So that was one lesson that I learned. Another lesson is, honestly, don't leave things to the last minute. When it comes to the waters, even at 2, like I'll add on this tip. Whatever you do, put the hardest things first. So if you struggle with drinking water, get that sorted at the start of the day. If you struggle to get a workout, like if you're doing workouts at 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. and you know that you can do it early in the morning, like start having the discipline to get your butt up and get a workout in the morning.
Because if you leave it to the end of the day, you're not gonna want to do it, and
I'll
it's
tell
gonna
you
make it
right
so
now,
much harder.
Yeah, 100%. Like I'll tell you right now, if it wasn't for me getting my workouts in, in the morning and then doing it probably at 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I reckon I would have failed. And the reason why is because because of the time. Because I've left it too long, or it's 9, 10 o'clock and I have to get ready to wake up at 5. So the best thing that you want to do is just get all the hard things. And you know what? Whether you're doing 75 hard or not, just life in general. Like if you can, and you can actually, I truly believe that you can. Anything that you consider as hard, cleaning, what else is there? Drinking water. Things like making your bed, cleaning up, whatever the case may be. All right? Try your best to do it at the start of the day. That was another lesson that kept me going, was that I was waking up early, as you know. I was getting my workouts in early in the morning and making sure that I was getting my water in. And all this stuff. Like I was making sure that everything was at the front. So I would say I'll just keep it at those 2. The first thing is you do not rise on level of your goals. You fall on the level of your systems. That just being... It's all about your habits, right?
Systems, routines.
Pretty much. And then the second one was just whatever you can do, just anything that you would consider as hard, put it at the start of your day, and have this what I call a work now, play later mentality. So you get the work done now, so that you can play later. So that's what I would say in terms of lessons from that.
Awesome, bro. And this year we've had to pivot a lot, and everyone's had to pivot with what's happening. Well, the last 2 years really. But what other stuff have you achieved this year? And how did you kind of pivot, especially during lockdowns and stuff?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say for me that 2021 for me was very bittersweet. And the reason why I say bittersweet is because I did have a lot of wins, micro wins, small wins to the big wins in my personal journey. But I would say that there was a lot of losses that I had during the year. And a few losses that I had was during the, obviously we had the lockdown that happened during the year. And crazy enough, I was actually in my journey of just being a human being, one of the things I wanted to do was I wanted to do youth mentoring. And so I started that. I started getting into schools. I actually locked into 2 schools, and then lockdown hit. And then obviously there was no communication, that they didn't need me from that point because everything went online. And then obviously we ended up reopening, and there was literally only a few weeks left until school finished. And so that actually significantly, that hit me significantly because I made the decision to let go of certain things, typical 9-to-5 jobs and stuff, to pursue this role of doing youth mentoring.
Because you're working at Woolies, right?
Yes.
Did you quit that this year or last year?
Oh yeah, so I was working at Woolworths and I actually quit at the end of financial year last year.
Oh, okay, I thought it was this year.
Yeah, so I was there last year. And I'm not gonna lie, I think the past few weeks I've been contemplating, of going back.
Oh, really?
Like just in my head, like what if? And the only reason why I was contemplating was because the finances, because of the youth mentoring programs that I was running, and the payments that I was getting through was quite flexible for me. I was getting a steady income until obviously the lockdown had hit, and then we got the pandemic. Money coming through, and that was okay for a season until they stopped.
Yeah.
And then as they stopped, obviously, I was getting ready to get back in, and then the schools are saying, due to restrictions, and also due to their budget, they were not sure if they were able to even get me in by the end of the year. So I would be transparent and real and say that financially, I'm probably not in the position that I thought I would be. At the start of this year, like at the start of this year, I was like, oh yeah, these are my goals, but I think the past 2 weeks I've been really thinking like from now, probably since like the start of December, I've been really reflecting on, okay, I thought I was gonna be here, but I'm not, and then like just asking the question why, reflecting, but not using that as an excuse for me to be like, okay, I'm gonna quit. It hasn't been easy,
No.
especially doing phase 3. I'm doing phase 3 at the same time, going through this, this, I guess, a challenging season, like financially. And if you know anything about finances, like money can literally like control you. It can control you emotionally, but like the losses like that I had this year, and like it really started to make me question as to exactly not who I am, but who I want to be.
Yeah.
Am I wanting to be a person that just says, yeah, I'm going to stick to my goals even though things may not be working out now, or am I the type of person that is hypocritical and says that they're going to do one thing and then they do the complete other? And so I obviously made a decision to hold my ground and start focusing on other things other than the youth mentoring programs that I was creating. So, yeah, I would say that was like one of the, I guess, the challenging moments of 2021 was that. I even during the lockdown too, that was quite difficult, especially with the gyms. Right, the gyms were closed, and I call their gym, like I call it the better ground. Not the battleground. Some people call it battleground, but I was like, no, I believe it's better ground. Better ground. Better.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. But yeah, like, and the reason why I call it the better ground is because, like, this is my element. This is my environment where I'm wanting to be better. Like, I want to get better every single day, and because I see the gym as my better ground, I start to. Like that starts to ricochet and overflow in other areas. Like I start to see that I'm a lot more vibrant here, like with Nick. I'm a lot more vibrant on like doing that when I'm working in schools with my family. And the reason why is because I have this environment that I go to get the work done, to let out any stress. And also get gains too. All right, that's the cool thing about the gym.
Don't forget the gains, bro.
Yeah, don't forget about the gains, bro. But most importantly, though, I see it as like this is an area where like if I'm bitter, I'm here to get better. You know what I mean, like if I'm starting to feel like I have this bitter spirit, I remember like my mum. There was this one time, right? I was at home, and my mum was like to me, I was angry and like for something, I don't know exactly what it was, and then all my mum said was, "Go to the gym, just go to the gym."
Yeah.
And so guess what I did? I already went to the gym. And then I ended up just getting my gym clothes, and I ended up going to the gym. And like, I think that's when I started to realize like my perception of why I go to the gym. And it's like, oh, it's actually my better ground, because there has been days where I've woken up on the wrong side of the bed. But as I get to the gym, it's like my recycling.
It's like a meditation.
Yeah. Quite similar to that. Getting like your body, like the fibers in your body being torn. It really wakes you up. Also, too, when you're angry and you're trying to lift heavy, and obviously as you're starting to lift heavy, the weights starts to tell you that you suck, and that you can't lift these weights. Pretty much humble. You start to eat a bit of humble pie, and you start to realize like, hey, like there's actually much more than you think in life than, I guess, the aggression or the frustration that you're going through.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like for me, it's like, I'm really grateful that I have places like the gym, and obviously due to the lockdown, we ended up not having that. And I would probably say I was the only one that got caught up into it. I'm guessing you did too.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, so, but then at the same time, I had to, reshuffle. And I ended up just doing like workouts at home, which was, not gonna lie, it was very boring. I'm not gonna lie, it was very boring doing, similar workouts. Like I ended up investing into kettlebells, and then doing walks, runs. But at the same time, it's just like, it was different.
It's not God's country, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not. Yeah, it's nothing. It's just nothing, honestly. But I was grateful though, because of myself. I started to realize within myself that I was happy that I was still finding a way. Which is one thing that I believe in, is that I don't want to make a way. No, so I don't want to find a way. I want to make a way.
Yeah, because so many people gave up during this time. Like, fuck it, gym's not open. I'm just gonna eat whatever I want, lay on the couch, do nothing. And coming out of this lockdown, they're overweight, not happy, not healthy, nothing.
Yeah.
It's like you had every opportunity to go for a run, walk, home workout, whatever the case may be, but you chose not to.
Yeah.
That's all on you.
And you know what? I want to add on to that, because a lot of people, and I say a lot of people, even like, I'll probably say 9 times out of 10, the people that I met, they had reasonable excuses, like to not train. Some had babies, some had, work issues, relationship issues, and like we all have issues in life, and we all have these excuses that we can use. Reasonable too.
Yeah.
But if there was one thing I could, add on to what you're saying, is that even though you do have a reasonable excuse to say, hey, like, yeah, I couldn't do this because of this. Let's say I couldn't train because I had to look after baby. Or let's say I had to work countless hours to pay the bills. Understandable. But you did have a choice. Like, as in, you did have the choice to buy that Hunger Jacks, meal. You had that, you had the choice to, order Uber Eats every single day. And so the whole takeaway I wanted to share on this is that, like, everything all comes down to choices.
Yep.
And I'm not gonna lie, like, there were some choices that I'd made even during the lockdown that wasn't wise. Things like what I just said, getting like Hungry Jacks and getting
boxes.
Uber Eats, like doing this, and but there was lessons that I learned along the way, which is like, choices, the little choices that you make truly does matter, and if you don't manage the little choices that you make, it's going to affect the big choices that you make.
Yeah, no, exactly. I'm grateful for this year, eh? Like, for me, I feel like I've grown so much, bro.
See, I wanted to ask you that question, man.
Ask me.
I know. This is the Betar Project.
Nah, this is.
I want to ask you the question.
It's for both of us.
Yeah. Let's go, man. What's been crazy? It's been ages since I've been behind a microphone. So,
all right, the host is now Josh. Take it right.
Nah, but you know what? I want to ask you the question, bro. How has Nicky Betar been during 2021? Like, just share to us, bro. Like, I really want to know. And you know what's crazy? I don't think there's been any, I guess, guest out there that was willing to kind of flip the script and be like, let's ask the question. Talk to us, bro.
Yeah, it's been an interesting one, that's for sure. I feel like most of my growth has come in the last 6 months of the year. The beginning of the year, there was a lot of growth, a lot of self-awareness. More so with me, relationship-wise. Went to like a couples event and then went to a men's event and did a lot of self-reflection, self-awareness on some traumas and stuff like that came up and made me realize why I act certain ways or why I do certain things, and just accepting, I guess, who I am, and learning about anxiety, like learning about being an introvert, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, being self-aware is like so powerful, bro.
Mm.
It's like you just know, you have a better understanding of who you are and what you want. And I think that's what I gained this year is just, yeah, just knowing who the fuck is like Nick Betar. Like, who the fuck am I? What do I want? You know, what do I want out of life? What life do I want to create for myself? And, you know, through people like yourself and doing Tony Robbins and all these kind of things that I've done throughout the year, it's helped me go to the next level. And I think like this year's been another foundational year.
Yeah.
And next year is like time to really start implementing it and really growing it. I did some amazing things. I did a lot of travel stuff. I would have loved to do more travel, but obviously everyone knows that kind of fucked up. Mm-hmm. But, you know, obviously finding out I'm going to be a dad, that was a challenge in the beginning. Like there was some nights that I would go into the bush and I would just sit there and contemplate life. I was like, what the fuck have I done? Like there was just so much emotion. I didn't know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say I didn't get into like a depression state, but I had like depressive thoughts and like negative thoughts. And I was lost there for a while. But then it's just coming to terms with it all and accepting it and realizing like life happens for you, not to you. Everything happens for a reason. And it's like, and I was like, fuck. Now I'm like, obviously I still have these emotions. Like everyone's scared being a parent for the first time, but I'm super pumped, Like I'm fucking so excited. And for the listeners, it's like 4 weeks away and my daughter's going to be born. And that's crazy. Like time's gone so quick, man. But yeah, it's been a roller coaster of a year. And, you know, the man next to me has helped me a lot. We've connected a lot. He's helped me grow a lot, especially in my communication and confidence and stuff like that. So grateful. Flip it back on you though. In regards to me, how have you seen me grow as a person? Because as you said, we've known each other for about a year now. You jumped on my podcast. And then we didn't really chat there for a while.
True.
And then this year, I think when COVID hit and you were doing those online like Instagram lives and stuff, we connected again and then we just built that fucking strong connection. And here we are today. So maybe from that first podcast and then obviously coming back to when we really connected this year to now, how have you seen me grow?
Oh, honestly, like I was waiting for this question because like I'm actually really good when it comes to this. I remember when I first got a message from Nick Betar.
I don't even know how I came across it. Was it Cody maybe? Because you've known Cody a while now.
Yeah, shout out to Katie.
I think it was Cody.
Shout out to Katie.
Yeah, it would have been Cody. And then I was like, who's this Josh guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we connected.
I think it was a 5 minutes with, like back when you, maybe it might have been through that.
I think it was.
Yeah. But I remember like you messaged me and I think like one of the things I can like the first thing that I think about when it comes to Nick Betar, like in terms of me personally, is very introverted. Like back then, very introverted, and I don't know. I just seen that like when I seen like when we had our first podcast, which you guys should check out.
I didn't even know what episode. I'm gonna look that up right now.
Yeah, look it up, bro. Look it up. But I remember that episode, and I remember like doing that interview with you. And in my head, I was like, "This guy is very keen. He's a very keen dude." And like the burning desire and the drive that you have then is what you still have now. But I started to realize, like with you, bro, that like you were genuine, but like you were very shy.
Yes.
Yeah, very shy and very organized. I would say another thing too, bro, is that you done your research, which is probably honestly that was probably like the biggest thing that I took out of that was that, bro, this guy literally like searched through. He asked himself questions like, what do I need to know about like my specific guest, and that was the first impression that I got. But can I tell you now that the person that I had seen then to the person that I see now, completely different person. We went on to a hike this morning. We went to the gym today, and I don't know. I felt like I was spending time with a different type of Nick, a Nick Betar that is better. Literally though, like I see that you are a much more better person that like where you are the first time I met you, which should be a key. It should be something that we should be striving for. Is I want to be a better person, whether it's podcasting, whether it's fitness, whether it's being a better person. We want to be a better person than where we were previously, and that's what I've seen in you. I've seen the massive growth. A lot of people don't know, but we've done coaching sessions together.
Yeah.
Where I've coached him on specific things, and I think I would say the biggest thing that one thing I was really proud of, like, and this is like a duality, like, and when I say duality, it's like a professional personal relationship that we have together. I think the biggest thing that the biggest thing I was most proud of was when you done your second seminar.
Yeah.
So the first seminar compared to the second seminar,
big difference. Eh?
Big difference. And low key, like I was low key fangirling when, and it's funny because we're doing this, like we're in the same seminar, doing the same, like not doing the same talks, but we're in the same seminar doing our talks, and so, Nick was first and then I was last, or well Cody was, but like in terms of like the guest speakers, and it was the same. It was actually the same before. Yeah. And so I remember at the start, you were sitting on the chair and doing like something similar to this, like in your studio. And then the next one was like next level. You put your camera up, you're standing up, you're next to the Betar Project signage. And I was like, first of all, you listen because I told you. I was like, bro, like obviously it's all about your focus and your physiology and your language, but the most important thing is your physiology. You want to make sure that you're standing up, chest up high. And these are things that we worked on behind the scenes. And then when I was seeing it come into fruition, I was like, I didn't actually think that it was going to be that big, like that big of a difference. And as I started to see it, I was like, that was probably one thing I was real proud of. But yeah, man, like you've grown heaps, especially with your podcast, bro. Like, the Betar Project, like, episode number what now?
7. Now?
Yeah.
God.
Put
me on the spot again.
Sorry, bro.
90 something. Okay, you were number 17.
I was number 17.
You were episode 17.
Okay.
Now, I've done... God.
17. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, everyone go back and listen to that. So, I released number 93 last week, but I have a bunch... So, I'm probably done 100. 100 guests, and then all up, I think it was like 150 total podcasts.
I was going to say, because you've done like your solos and even other like little mini like series you've done, And
it's like, fuck, how the fuck did I record that many podcasts, bro?
Well, you know what? I love that you're saying that like you're getting close to your 100th like episode of guest, because I remember like when I was doing like podcasting before, like doing similar to what you're doing, I remember Gary V. Yeah. I remember Gary V saying, because I think there was one person out there. I'm trying to get my bearings right here. There was one guy that was asking for Gary V to come onto his podcast. Yeah. And then he ended up asking him, like Gary V ends up asking like, oh, how many podcasts have you done? And then he's like, oh, I've only done like 20 or something. And then he's like, once you get to 100, reach out to me. Yeah. And then I remember when I was in the podcasting and I started to hit the 40s and 50s. Oh no, like 40s, 30s and 40s. I didn't hit my 50th. I started to realize why Gary V was saying, like, once you hit that 100th, like, then hit me up. Because it's the journey that you're going through, like, through the 30, the 40, and the 50th. And you've probably gone through a lot of struggles.
Bro, my first 20 episodes, garbage. My 40, 50, 60... okay. Yeah. These last 15 or 20 episodes, so from 80 to 90, whatever, been pretty damn good. And I've been proud of myself. You said before, like, I'm a good planner. I actually pride myself in that.
Come on.
I pride myself on fucking preparation and planning for a podcast, because you hate it when you jump into a podcast and you know nothing about that person. Like, you want to have some idea, you want to know about them. ask the right questions, and obviously have it flow like a conversation. And I pride myself on that, and I've gotten so much better at it. And like, I have a few notes every podcast, but when you and me did it, bro, 2 pages of just fucking notes, and I'll just read off it. And
that was one thing I was gonna say.
It didn't quite flow.
No, it didn't. I'm gonna be real with you, bro.
Yeah.
But I'm very grateful when it comes to like this, because I understand. What, you're only in 17 episodes. So in my head, I'm like, no, like, give this guy a break. Like, he's at least give him a chance to get into his 30th, 40th, 50th episode and see the transformation.
Yeah.
If he doesn't, then probably pick it up and be like, okay, man, like, you got to pick up your slack. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
Like, let's start fixing it up. Which, that's the reason why I would actually say, like, and I'm not, like, plugging in or anything here, but this is the reason why I say to people, get a coach.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, like, get specifically like a podcasting coach, whatever. Get any coach like all you want, specific to what you struggle with. But the reason why is because coaches see things differently to what you see, and that's what I do for a living is coaching people and giving people like constructive feedback. But for me, it's like, oh, you're only on your 17th one. It's like probably once you start getting into like your 40th and 50th episode, that's when you probably got to start like sharpening your tools.
Yeah, if you're not growing by then, and I'm not meaning downloads and numbers, I mean personally in your communication skills, you need to take a step back and reevaluate what you're doing. And it's not fucking easy. It takes a lot of commitment, consistency, putting in the reps every single week.
100%.
And that's, I was thinking about this. I've been thinking about this for a while, and looking at other people that have started podcasts or have podcasts, whatever the case may be, I'm like, I'm honestly probably the only one that is the most fucking consistent when it comes to podcasting. Like, in regards to the episodes themselves, the content around it, everything around the podcast, like, I'm probably one of the best when it comes to being consistent. I don't have the downloads, all that kind of stuff. That's going to come. I know it's going to come. But you got to be consistent. You got to put in the reps and just provide as much value as possible, because down the track, it's going to come. And I'm starting to see it, fruition into what I'm wanting eventually. And that's just from this back 6 months of this year, just fucking going ham, going hard, and just putting so much time and energy into it. And you see it all the time in people who start podcasts because they think, oh, it's podcast, it's easy. I'm just going to record an episode, put it out there, There's so much fucking more that goes into it. The recording bit's the easiest. It's the planning, the editing, the networking, all that kind of stuff that goes into it. People don't see that. Yeah. It's just like that iceberg analogy. People see the tip of it and they're like, oh yeah, this guy puts out a podcast, just sits there in front of a microphone and talks to awesome people. I do. But as I said, there's so much beneath the surface that you do not see. And until you jump into it, until you see it, and you'll see it all the time. They start a podcast, two months, if they make it, 6 months at the most, who knows? They're not getting the downloads, or they're realizing, holy fuck, this is harder than what I think. People are not wanting to come on the podcast. You're going to get a lot of no's. You will get a lot of yeses as well, but you just got to put in the work, and people give up too early. And for me, I was like, I'm not giving up, bro. Like, when I first started, I didn't see it as a career or anything like that. Yep. But the more I went, I was like, I actually really enjoy it. And I just had this feeling of, one, I'm helping people. Two, like, I've never really committed to something like this before. I was like, where the fuck can I take it? Like, if I'm passionate about something, why not see where I can take it? Yeah. And here I am today, like, oh, fuck, December. We've hit 2 years. Yeah, well, of the podcast. I don't know. I forget the date. It might have been last week sometime. Yeah. So 2 years of the podcast, and basically this last 6 months has been my biggest growth. So like, where the fuck am I going to go next year? It's only up from there. And I seen a post from Joe Rogan the other day. He's been doing it for 12 years. 12 fucking years. And it's only been the last few years. Like, he only got that multi-billion-dollar deal last year. So it's taken him between 8 to 10 years to really build a framework and really get his name out there. And then boom, just popped off. And it's like, why can't I do that? And then our guy who we follow a lot, Isaac John. Yeah. First few years of business, like, people knew him, footy player, all that kind of stuff. this year, boom, growth. It's his 4th or 5th year of business. People give up way too early.
Yeah.
People underestimate how much you can achieve as well in a short amount of time. And it's just, you just got to stick in there and fucking just work hard,
100%. And thank you for, like, honestly, man, like, I love that you're sharing this because, like, this is very applicable to what I was doing at 75 Hard. Like, when I was doing 75 Hard and, you can understand it because, like, you've done it and, like, you understand the struggle it is to get through it. You know, very similar concept. Like, I was always asking myself the question, why isn't much people doing this? And majority of the reasons why is because people give up early.
Yeah.
They give up a lot earlier and, like, you know, sooner rather than later. But there was one thing that, like, as you were sharing that, like, there was one thought that came into my mind that would be very good for the listeners that are listening to this podcast episode. And it's the fact that, like, you're talking about yeses and nos, right? Like, when it comes to podcasting and, you know, going out of your way, networking and connecting. And I know the struggles that you've gone through, bro. Don't worry. I've had my fair share too, you know, reaching out. You've had some people that say no. You have some people that say anything. And especially when you're consistently reaching out saying, hey, like, just wanting to, you know, get a response. And then you probably find out that you're on the request list. Anyways, moving forward. One of the thoughts that I had was, and I remember sharing this in the seminar, the last seminar that we done, and it was the fact that when you say yes to one thing, you're going to be saying a lot of no's to other things. But when you say a lot of no's to other, when you say a no to one thing, it gives you opportunities to say yes to something else.
Yeah.
And I realized that, you know, whether it's podcasting or even through your journey, you can see, like, through and through, that there were probably moments where you got a lot of no's. And there was a lot of moments where you got a lot of yeses. But it was through bouncing back from the no's. And because obviously we always question, like, oh, is it me?
Yeah, you can't take it personally.
Yeah. And that was probably one thing that I was probably one thing I was real, like, strong at, was, like, not taking personally, just understanding that, hey, they probably just don't want to do it.
It's a numbers game, bro. If you reach out to 10 people, one person might say yes, 9 people might say no. But if you reach out to 100 people, there's 10, 15 people that say yes. Exactly.
And so same thing. That was the kind of nugget that I wanted to share, was that when you say yes to one thing, then it gives you, I want to say, like, it can either be an opportunity or like a flaw or like a loss that you have, but eventually when you say yes to one thing, you're gonna say no to other things. And I feel that maybe perhaps that was the guest. Like, the guests were probably feeling, if I say yes to this, and I have to say no to some other things. So we don't know, but I love the fact that you mentioned, like, don't take things personally, because that's probably a lesson I learned a couple months ago. I'll probably say last month, actually, when I read the book that you offered for me to read.
Oh, what's it called again?
4 Agreements.
Oh, the 4 Agreements. Yeah, that's it.
And one of them is don't take things personally.
That's it, bro. Like, if you've just started a podcast and you're reaching out to people, I'm not going to say followers mean you're famous or anything, but if you're reaching out to someone they're quoted as famous or professional athlete or whatever, and they say no, dude, you just started a podcast. Like, you're not special. Like, don't take that personally either. You're not fucking special, but just keep reaching out to them and to different people, because once you build your reputation, once you build those numbers up, then you'll start getting those big name guests.
100%.
And who knows, you may get big name guests early on. Like, I got a few on, like Isaac John and a few other NRL players and that. But I also reached out to a lot more who said no or didn't even reply or nothing.
Yeah.
And it's just part of the game.
Yeah.
So put in the repetitions, bro.
Legit. And I love, and this is the reason why I love, and this is the reason why I love that you're talking about this, because we're getting very close, or I don't know when it's going to be released, probably next week or so, probably in 2022.
Yeah, I think after,
if that's the case, if it's 2022 right now when you're listening to this, understand that, like, you're probably currently creating, like, your New Year's resolutions right now, and let's say one of your goals are to do a podcast. Let's say, for example,
do my 30-day challenge,
yeah, to be announced. But yeah, like, whatever the case may be, and there are going to be moments where you're going to get shut down. There are going to be moments where you're going to fall short. There are going to be moments where there's going to be unexpected, like, chaos that's going to be coming out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But one thing I will always remember, like, playing footy is, what are you going to do next? When you drop that ball, all right, when you drop the ball and you're nuts too at the same time, a white line fever, when you drop the ball, what are you going to do? Like, what's the next thing that you're going to do? And, like, I remember, like, that was, like, my favorite coach said that to me. He's always saying, like, what are you going to do next, Josh? You drop the ball, what are you going to do next? And I was literally ringing in my ear, and it's still ringing now.
Yeah.
And we're getting close to, like a decade since then, since that. And so it's like you're going to go through a lot of flaws. You're going to go through a lot of struggles. Even in 2022, obviously 2021 is just about to be done, which I think a lot of people are grateful for. But that doesn't mean that the struggles that you're going through in 2021 isn't going to be the same struggles that you're going to go through in 2022. This is the reason why I focus on being better.
That's it.
Literally.
And honestly, they may be the same struggles if you don't make changes in your life.
100%. And I think, and I love that you mentioned it, like, if there's any challenges out there that you can do, like, get on it. Like, even if it's a challenge that you probably, like, I know there's a lot of skeptical people out there. They're like, oh, you know, why do I got to follow a challenge? It's like, yeah, see, the biggest challenge is you, right? You are the challenge.
They say that, but like, while they sit on the couch and eat donuts.
Exactly.
Like, what are you doing with your life?
Like, you're suffering, but at the same time, you're denying, or I guess putting on to other people that, hey, like, you're not doing. Well, I'm not actually gonna do it because I'm okay, and it's like, hey, that's fine. Like, it's your choice, but don't start belittling other people because they're wanting to get better.
And don't complain about your life if you're not going to make changes.
Oh, yes, I think a lot of people got cut by that.
Oh, bro, it just grinds my gears, Josh. Grinds my gears.
What does?
When people complain about their fucking life or complain about situations, but continue to do the same thing and don't make changes, and then make excuses.
Honestly, as I said before, like, reasonable excuses, I understand, right? Like, if you're
Reasonable, but still excuse, right?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's reasonable. I understand that, like, you know, it's reasonable that you know, like, babies, you know, crying, whatever case may be. Hey, I'm not a parent, so I'm not going to say
Use
much.
that baby as weights, bro. That's what I'll do.
But at the same time, though, it all comes down to your decisions. Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do about it? Like, yes, we're probably most likely going to go through a lockdown very, very soon. We don't know.
Adapt and overcome.
Exactly.
That's
like, what are you going to do? Like, what are you going to do after? Are you going to continue to complain? Are you going to continue to fall short? Are you going to continue to follow the same cheat diet plan that you've been, you know, choosing? Who knows? But the main thing that comes to all this is your decisions. Like, it all comes down to a choice.
Yeah, no. Dude, I want to come back to our fucking weird relationship, that duality that you mentioned before.
Yes.
We can have the banter, we can go do hikes and shit like that.
Yeah.
And then we can be serious, have those deep conversations and really keep each other accountable, bro. And I think that's what fucking friendship's about, eh? Like, having that balance of, yeah, we can muck around, we can be mates. But, dude, if you're not living up to your expectations, if you're not doing what I think that you can do, I'm going to pull you up on it. And I want you to be accountable. And, you know, being friends with you, and then also, you know, you being my coach and working together, and you, I guess, helping me bring more clarity into the podcast, the brand, all that kind of stuff, which we've worked through, and a lot of people are probably seeing now with, you know, my messages and my why, my purpose, which is something I've really cleared up through working with Josh. You know, I'm grateful, bro. Like, you need that. You need that in a friendship. Like, you don't need a coach as your friend, but you need someone who, as I said, is going to keep you accountable. And that's what I love about a friendship. It's fucking weird, but I love it, eh?
It's funny. I love that you share that, because a lot of people don't know that I am Nicky's coach, which is it's very weird, because honestly, this whole relationship is weird, honestly. But I love it though. Like, I just love the fact that other people, like, if you knew the true story behind our relationship, you would 9 times out of 10 be like, this is the weirdest relationship I've seen. I don't know how you guys get through it, but I think there's one clear message that we understand each other, and it's that we want to be better.
That's it.
I know I keep pointing at this, but I truly believe that. It's like that's probably one thing that we really connect well with is that we're wanting to get better.
Yeah.
Your brand is about getting better. My brand is about getting better.
Yeah.
So it's always about growing, and how can we go from like, let's say, good to great, or how can we become better communicators?
Yeah.
How can we create better content? How can we make the Betar Project better? Right.
Yeah.
So in the end, I look at our relationship, and it is very rare. I have like, you're not the only relationship I have like this. I do have someone else. And it's not my missus, okay?
I thought it was the only one, bro. Fuck.
No, but like I will say right now, it's very rare. But like, it's crazy. Yeah, let me say this, right? It's the rarity, as in something that's rare. It's the rarity that you can find the most simplicity. Oh my gosh, that sounded so good.
Quote that up.
Yeah, quote that up, quote unquote, right? No, but like what I mean by that is like the rarity is the most simplicity. What I'm trying to say is that like our relationship is so rare, but the reason and because it's so rare, we can do things simple. Like we can do the simple things right.
It's not hard. We jump on Zoom, we talk shit,
Literally,
and then it's like, put my coach's hat on now. Let's fucking let's work.
Like I don't know. It's like because it's so rare. For us, like the relationship is so simple, but I feel like if it was very common, then there's just too much complexity. There's just too much things going around. Like I'm thinking about, why is this relationship so boring? But because our relationship is so weird and unique, like it makes it so much simple for us to work on. Like there's always something out there that we're wanting to work on, whether it's your podcast, in coaching, like as in me putting my coaching hat on, or if it's just me taking my hat off and just being like one of the bros. Yeah. Which I would say is doable, but I do believe there's one thing that you need, and it's maturity. Yeah. I do truly believe that you need maturity. Respect. Yeah, respect and stuff. But the number one thing is you need maturity. Like you need to actually have the maturity to be able to understand, okay, Josh is in coaching.
No egos, bro. Yeah. Like knowing like he's actually trying to, like you're trying to help me and not being like, I know it all. Like, who the fuck am I to listen to Josh? Like he's just my friend. Like, nah, man. I love that we just bounce ideas off each other, like that whiteboard there. Like a lot of those ideas have come from us just talking. Yeah, literally. And then I'm like, fuck, that's a good idea. Like today, like the men's walk that you mentioned. Yeah. That's going straight on that board, bro. Honestly, like, and I love the fact that, and like, I'm going to go back to our relationship. Like, very weird, right? Our relationship is very weird. A lot of people probably would find it very confusing, but we get along. And I remember in the book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, there's one habit that it's not James Clear, it's Steve Covey. Yeah. Stephen Covey says in the book, one of the habits is synergy, and what he believes in is that 1 + 1 = 3. And what he means by that is that when you get one person that bands on with another person and you put them together, they can do much more work, right, than if one person was healthy. And let's say, for example, I'm healthy and Nick's healthy. Put that together, there's synergy right there. Right? And then we're going to be getting more work done. We're going to be hustling and grinding together. We're going to be pushing to the limit. Why? Because we're both healthy. But let's say, for example, I'm unhealthy and then Nick's healthy. 1 + 1 does not equal 3. No, you're just sapping my energy, bro.
Yeah, literally. And then obviously you're going to have that tension. Yeah. So at the end of the day, it's like the best thing that you want to do when it comes to relationships, and this can be like even partnering, like if you are wanting to get into a relationship, you want to...
We're not homosexual, by the way.
Yeah. Right? We're just mates, okay? It's not that weird. But like 1 + 1 = 3 when you have one healthy person and another healthy person banding together. But when one unhealthy person bands with a person that is healthy, then 1 + 1 does not equal 3. It probably most likely equals 0 because it's going to be the tension. And so the reason why I say this is because that's the synergy that I get with you. Like when we're going on the hike today, I was thinking about like you obviously steadying the pace, for me. And then the cool thing is that you didn't have to stop as much to look back. but the blue guy
He's probably still there,
he's
bro.
probably still there. Bro, there was this guy. Oh my gosh.
I feel for him, bro.
No, there was this guy. What was he wearing? Like I don't know if it was a bulldog shirt or something.
I don't know.
Old matey. We'll call him old matey, right? It was an old mate. And he was. I just remember seeing him coming up there. Yeah. So there was a spot. Right, so this is a story from today. We went on a hike and we got to a certain point and we were just like chatting. Good chats, by the way.
Yeah.
We should do a podcast there. And then as we were there, oh my gosh, I could just see his face. This is an old guy, right? And he was, you know what? First of all, like, kudos to him for actually doing it. Because I don't think a lot of I don't want to say old people, but like just people that are probably getting to the stage where they're, losing a bit of their senses and stuff. Like, you wouldn't expect them to. And it looked like he was in his 50s.
And he looked like he went further than us as well.
Yeah, he went a lot further down.
Yeah.
So, like, kudos to him. But the funny thing was that, like as we were, like, just going up, every time we looked back, like, we started to lose his face. We started to lose his, like, body. And then I was like, yeah, I think he's just... Yeah, he's probably still down there.
Fuck. Should have
rescued him. But do you remember that time when it was... the
river crossing?
Yeah.
It's having a smoke.
Yeah, sure. Because, like, he was... You were close. Like,
he was having a smoke, and then he put it away. And
I smelt it.
Yeah,
I was like, what the heck? That's not vapes.
No, he was having a smoke, and he obviously seen us and finished it up. Hopefully he didn't chuck it in the water. But yeah, then we crossed the river, and then Josh is just sitting there watching him in case he falls in. Yeah.
So like, what happened was like, so obviously there was this ladder, and then we went down the ladder, and like he gave way. So old lady gave way. And then,
thank
God. And then like Nicky was like doing what he does, Mr. Fit guy.
Oh, yeah.
And like he's just like, because he's steadying the pace, being the leader. And then as I started to climb up, I stopped and I had this like moment of like, wait, he's going down. He's quite big, and I don't want him to fall. Plus, he's old. And I was like, I don't want to fall, so I just said, wait, I'm just gonna wait for him. And so we just waited, and here's Nicky and I watching a guy. Just go down the like.
Bro, that was
ladder.
The slowest I've seen someone go down a ladder.
But the only thing is that I was scared. I was scared that he was fall. So
because he could have easily slipped.
Yeah, especially with those shoes. Even though his shoes weren't even tied.
Straight down the waterfall.
Literally.
That would have hurt.
But hey, back to this energy. Like, so the reason why I was using that like frame of reference is because on the hike today. Like, it took, close to 2 hours, right? Down and up.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, roughly.
It's 9.
I got 157.
3 hours, maybe.
Oh yeah?
Because we got there in 2 hours, actually.
Yeah, 2 hours, yeah. Relax, I'm not that. Putting pressure on me, bro. But I like, one takeaway that I got was synergy, because, I was always saying, like, yeah, Nick, lead the way. And the reason why I was saying that is because, like, you're the leader, because I don't know this area. I don't know God's country. I know God, but not God's country.
Welcome.
Yeah, welcome. But I started to learn that as I was going through, like as we were going down, I was like, no, whatever you do, Josh, like, don't be cocky, don't be egotistical, and think that, oh yeah, you know the way. Let the person that knows the way to guide you the way. That makes sense. And, as like, obviously we had that certain time where old matey was struggling, but then I started to think back that, you know what, like, I could have, like, if we had someone like that with us, you know how they say, you are as strong as your weakest link.
Yeah, like,
that's where, like, synergy comes in. It's like, it's either you're gonna gain synergy together, where you're gonna do things together and then grow together, or someone's gonna make you fall short. Yeah. Which obviously, most likely, 9 times out of 10, it's gonna push you down. It's not gonna actually lift you up. And so I was just using that as a frame of reference, because I reckon if I took my time, we wouldn't have gone out in 2 hours. I reckon it would have been another 2.5 or 3.
Probably, yeah.
Or if we went down further, because that's what old matey does.
Yeah. No, I'm proud of you, man. You fucking, especially on the way back up. It's not easy.
It is, but it is not easy. I remember, like, I was thinking, like, oh my gosh, bro,
all those stairs, and it's pretty steep too. Yeah. So Nah, man, proud of you.
Don't worry, bro. Once I'm on the road, going back to the area, I'm gonna feel it. I'm gonna
Feel it
my leg.
tomorrow, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, fuck. I'm grateful,
No, I'm grateful, man. I'm
keen
grateful
for
today.
next year, for both of us. Maybe some stuff we can do together next year.
Stay tuned.
We have spoken about a few things that may manifest into something bigger. Who knows? But yeah, like, what are you most excited for next year? Like, is there any specific goals that you're like, fuck, I'm so keen to rip into?
Yeah, it's a great question. This week is like my preparation week for next week, which is next year. And I think one thing that I've learned today. I think one big thing that I learned today is that, you see, a lot of people don't understand this. Oh, sorry, a lot of people don't know this, and a lot of people don't know that this whole year I had no New Year's resolution goals. First of all, and second of all, I had no goals that I put on the ceiling. So, like, for example, I had no goals to complete the 75 hard. That happened during the year. Yeah. I had no goals to, let's say, being a 5M guy. Like, and that was
sometimes that's good though, because if you get too stuck on your goals, you're not open-minded to different stuff.
And honestly, that's the only reason why I did it.
Yeah.
And it's crazy though, because a lot of people ask me questions like, what are your goals for the year? And I couldn't actually give them an answer. And I didn't lie about it. I didn't say, oh, my goals do this, my goals do that. But I would say that 2021 has been a year of, for me, it's been more so of not just living in the moment, but being prepared in the moment.
Yeah.
Because there was so many issues that obviously arise, on top of the big issue of like the lockdowns and stuff.
Yeah.
But there were so many more issues that were risen. So for me, it's like all I was learning was how to not only live in the moment, but how can I solve issues in the now? Like when I wake up in the early hours of the morning and I'm going through moments of like I didn't give a crap about anything, I didn't care about life. Like, what do I do in that moment? If you think about it, at that moment, you're not thinking about your New Year's resolution goals.
Yeah.
If anything, you're just thinking about how can I get myself out of this? Because obviously you got your thrive and survival mode. Like, it's either you're thriving or you're surviving. And majority of the time when you're waking up and you're pissed off, majority of the time, all you're wanting to do is survive.
Yeah.
Like, you're not actually thriving and being like, yeah, I'm at my best state. Majority of the time, you are saying to yourself, all I want is to live.
Sleep.
Or all I want to do is just do the basic necessities. Yeah. And I learned that this year. That, like, even through the 75 hard, even through the backlashes of like my youth mentoring, you know, even with the JSR brand, like, I haven't really talked about that. There was a lot of backlashes that were happening behind the scenes, and so the best thing I could have done, and I did do it, is just focus on what I can control, which is me.
Yeah.
But moving into 2022, I'm very excited. Although I may not be showing it, I'll just keep it in. But I think 2021 has taught me that, yes, you can do things without goals, but by the end of 2021, by the end of 2021, I've learned that goals are important. Because this whole year I lived without goals. As in, what I mean by living out with goals is your New Year's resolution goals. Like, your big 12-month, like, where you want to be this time next year. But now moving into 2022, I've now understood and know that I need goals and I need a system.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned. That's what I learned this whole year. So this whole week, I'm just going to be asking myself, okay, what are the certain goals, which is in the, you already know, the GPWS system, right? Like, in the roles that we have, like, what are the goals that I want in those roles?
Yeah.
Now I understand now, because I didn't have that at the start of this year, but now I do. So
great system.
Exactly. I just created a system. So at the moment now, I don't really have like specific goals.
Well, okay, let's not so much goals, but maybe areas. So maybe your coaching.
Yeah.
What areas are you most excited to work on?
Ooh. You know what? One thing I'm very excited for, but like anxious about, is the online coaching.
Yeah.
Like the JSA coaching, not necessarily the youth mentoring, because like at the moment now I have no clue and control of what's going to be happening within the school sector.
It's too unpredictable.
Exactly.
Especially if, as we said, we think probably going to be going into lockdown.
Yeah. But the JSR coaching, and you've been a part of it.
Yeah.
And you know the value that you received from JSR coaching. And so now my question that I ask myself is, who's next? Like who's going to be the next Nicky Betar? Who's going to be the next person that's going to receive the utmost value with the utmost value with the for it being underpriced.
Yeah,
because it is very underpriced compared to what other people out there are doing. But it's very it's actually giving me. It's going to be a challenge. The reason why it's going to be a challenge is because I'm going to be seeing people, doing a lot more better than me, in the same sector. But the thing the thing that I'm really excited for is learning all the lessons from 2021. Especially through the 75 hard, which by the way I'm going to be doing next year. So I'm very excited for that.
I'm joining him.
Yeah,
I'm going to be doing it too.
So I'm very excited for that. I'll just say I'm just going to focus on that one, and the one thing I'm going to be focusing on is the online coaching, because that's pretty much my bang for my buck. That's the set income that I'm wanting, but I want that to be the foundation. And then from that, everything ricochets. I've got so many other things planned out, but I just need to focus on the very important part.
Yeah. No, for me.
Yeah, but what about you, man? Nicky Betar.
I think, as I mentioned to you on the walk, the big thing for me is me. Is doing the 75 hard. Also, I'm going to be a dad and stuff like that.
And still doing it.
Yes, because but at the end of the day, it comes down to me. If I'm not working on myself, if I'm not becoming a better version of myself, how am I going to turn up as a better partner, a better dad, a better podcaster, a better business owner, overall better version of myself if I'm not working on me? So I think the biggest personal thing for me is myself and doing 75 hard. In a business aspect, what I'm most excited for to dig into is bringing it all together. I mean, bringing the podcast, the clothing, I got the clarity around the brand, the message, all that stuff now. It's now bringing it all together and making it one big brand. And really excited for the clothing side of it too, because this year I took a step back from that and I was just like, I'm just going to go hard on the podcast, which I'm still going to go hard. I have big plans. I want to hire an editor.
Come on.
Because I want to start delegating roles that take so much time.
Editing.
Yes, and it's not the most thrilling thing to do, especially with a child on the way. For me, I'm a big believer in delegate that stuff because you want to spend quality time with your loved ones.
Come on.
And working on the business, not in the business. So if I can delegate editing, that's a massive chunk of time that I can spending time with my daughter, my partner, other little things that I have. So that's a big one. And just, as I said, bringing it all together. And then off the back of that, who knows, online courses, coaching, all that stuff will come. That meant the team sports thing that we mentioned may or may not come to fruition. Who knows? But there's all these little ideas that we both have, but it's just focusing on yourself and your core, and then other stuff will manifest off the back of that.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm most excited for. And as just like you, this week's going to be spent on, properly planning out, especially the clothing side, designs, how I want to do it, planning the podcast where I want to take it, and then just fucking diving in come Jan 1st. So I'm pumped, bro.
Very excited, man. I'm very excited for 2022, but I'm really excited for you, man. I think the past probably say a few months of just communicating, connecting. I think I've seen a different side of Nicky that a lot of people don't see. But I think it's all due to intentional building, being mates and being real. I think that's probably the big thing. It's just being real, being yourself. I don't think there's times where we end up getting out of line in terms of our character. If anything, we're probably more in line.
Yeah.
Like in our character when we're together. And then now physically, it's like this whole day, it's like if and you would know this like you would know this when it comes to masking. It's like when you're masking in the real world, it gets very draining.
Yeah.
And you probably did not do that because you're just being yourself. And that's probably the freedom that you want to have, is you wanting to be yourself. And I'm looking at where you are at now, and I do see, you know, as we work on into 2022, that Nicky is going to be in a better position than where he is right now. And the only reason why he is because he chose to. Like, he chose to do like the little things. So very excited.
Yeah, I'm creating the life that I want.
Yeah.
For not only myself, but my family.
Yeah.
And I'm in control of that. It's all about choices, eh?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I think that's the biggest takeaway for people is we all have a choice to make changes in our life to have a better life.
Mm-hmm.
But it all starts from you doing that inner work and making small little incremental changes, which then down the track turn into massive changes.
Mm-hmm.
So that, I think, for me, that's the biggest takeaway. I'm going to flip it on you because you always ask me this, and I actually hate this question because it always puts me on the spot. But what's your biggest takeaway?
From 2022
from this year, and then we'll say from what we've spoken about in today's podcast.
Okay, I'll talk first 2021. The biggest takeaway that I've learned is focus on what you can control.
Mm-hmm.
Focus more on what you can control and focus less on what you can't control. I think a lot of people say that.
Yeah.
And it's very...
It's cliche, but it's true, right?
Yeah, it is.
That's the reason it's cliche.
And you know what? It's very simple, but it's not easy, especially when you're going through, state of anxiety, when you start, when the rubber meets the road, when things start to get tough and you're meeting resistance, you're not thinking about, okay, what do I control? Majority of the time, you're like, I don't know what to do. But if you train yourself and you say, I'm going to, whatever happens, I'm just going to focus on what I can control.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to be in a much more better position than what I'm in right now. And I think that's probably, in a nutshell, what I've learned with 2021, with the lockdowns, with the restrictions, and and I wouldn't say just restrictions within, the government and stuff, but I'm talking about, your mental health. This is all about mental health, right? Crushing the stigma. So, all this all comes down to, okay, what can we control? And there's no point of us focusing on the things that we can't control because we have no control of it.
Yeah.
But what we can do is focus on the things that we can control. So that's what I've learned for 2021. But the big thing that I learned from this podcast is I'm going to say, because there's so much nuggets that we got out of this.
Yeah.
The big one I'm going to say now is, I want to say the one that I said before, which was the seminar one.
Yeah.
Which is, when you say yes to something, there's going to be a lot of no's that you're going to be giving to, right? When you say yes to one thing, let's say, for example, you say yes to podcasting, you're going to be saying a lot of no's. You're going to be saying no's to, right now, like family, like spending time with family within the hour. When you're editing videos and editing podcasts, when you're networking, you're restricting yourself to other things like spending time with family, which is fine if you manage it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you flip it. When you say no to someone, that gives you an opportunity to say yes to something else.
Yeah.
So let's say, for example, someone says, "Hey, do you want to go out?" And you know within yourself that you've got a podcast to do, or let's say, for example, you got to work on your business or work on your shirts or clothing brand or whatever the case may be. You're saying no to that, but you're also saying yes to your family. You're saying yes to the fact that in 10 years' time, probably say 2 decades, 10 years, 20 years' time, your family is going to be in a much more stable position than you were 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So I would say that's been my whole take on this, because I think next year, 2022, we're going to go through some more challenges. And the best thing that we can do is learn how to say yes and also learn how to say no.
That's it, bro.
So that'll be mine.
Great.
What about you, bro? I want to flip it on to you, bro. What would you say was your like takeaway from 2021,
Yeah, okay.
and also the podcast.
Biggest takeaway, it'd probably come back to the biggest kind of lessons I've learned is becoming self-aware of yourself.
Nice.
Learning about yourself, why you act certain ways, why you do certain things, where it stems from. You know, a lot of the times it is childhood traumas and stuff like that. Is really understand who you are, what you want. That's probably key to one, going after a purpose and being happy in life. Because if you're not self-aware of who you are and you're always acting out in anger or you have all this anxiety, but you've never really dug down to where did this stem from, it's just going to be a never-ending cycle. And then you pass that on to your kids and then it just continues going. Yeah. So I think self-awareness is key. From this podcast today, there's so much shit to talk about.
Honestly, I don't think it's just the podcast. I think it's just the day.
Yeah.
Because like the day started, for me, for us, it started at 5. Yeah. And we're currently getting into what? 2:30?
2:30, yeah. Okay. Today, I think it's what we talked about before in our relationship is it is hard, it is rare, but find that someone that, as we mentioned, you can have that banter, you can have that friendship with, but also that someone who's going to tell you the fucking truth, pull you up on your shit and keep you accountable and, you know, wants you to become the best version of yourself. And it's not a one-way street, it's a two-way street. And I think, it's find that person. And it's hard. It is hard, but it also comes down to your environment, who you're surrounding yourself with. You know, if you're going to the pub every weekend or doing that kind of stuff, you're not really going to find people like Josh and myself. But if you're, you know, say going on hikes or, you know, working on a business or networking with whoever, like
like-minded people.
Yeah, with like-minded people, you're going to find that kind of people. And the energy you put out, the energy you're going to receive back. So I think that's the biggest takeaway from today is, just find like-minded people who you can have that good, healthy balance with, that duality, that fucking weird relationship with. So I think that's the biggest takeaway from today. And then obviously this year is self-awareness. Yeah, man, fuck. I'm grateful, man.
Woo!
It's been a good chat. What, hour and a half?
I feel like I'm high.
Yeah? High on life, but...
No, I think I'm high on the hike. Oh my gosh. Nah, bro, I'm feeling great, man. Like, I'm feeling like empowered. Thank you, bro. Thank you for allowing me to be in.
Grateful, bro.
Appreciate it, bro. I am grateful. And the reason why I'm grateful for this is because of a few things. And I think the first one I'm really grateful for this podcast is like we have done some work around like in the background, and it's great to see that I get to be in it, be in the space. But most importantly though, that like I'm feeling very grateful now because I probably needed it more than you think. Like I probably needed this more than you thought.
Okay, what's that?
Okay, thank you. Okay.
We'll just continue going on the podcast now.
No, I like the reason why I would say that is because like this year I've learned a really big lesson, and I'm probably add on to it, even though we already done it, but it's a great lesson.
This podcast is never going to end.
I just like this year I learned, like for me it was just learning how to be okay with being by myself.
We mentioned that before.
We mentioned it like today
in the car,
and I was thinking about where I was, you know, back in the days. Like I remember going through the hike, and the first thing I was saying to myself is, like, I asked you the question about the waterfall. It's like when you're around the waterfall, like, what are you thinking? Like when you
that was a fucking odd question, bro. I was like, why is this guy asking me this?
But the reason why I asked her is because I got like there was one thing that was picking my ear, and was a leech? Is that what they call it?
Yeah, I said watch out for leeches.
Yeah, watch out for leeches. It wasn't that was picking in my ear. It was like just wisdom, and like something that I found like through the hike and through the waterfall was that, you know, the crazy thing about waterfalls is that it's loud, right? It's loud. And that's what I said. I was like, it's crazy though, because like, you know, waterfalls, it sounds loud, but you said that it was...
Yeah, it's peaceful. It's calm, like calming.
Right. And so you were saying that was peaceful. But for me, I'm like, that is very, very odd, because I'm from an area of Western Sydney where it's loud.
Yeah.
but so is a waterfall.
Different loud though, eh?
Exactly. And that was the biggest takeaway that I got, like from the hike, was that you can actually find peace in chaos or like loud. Like it's not like in the city or in the area. It's like it's loud.
Your environment may be loud, but you got to quiet your mind.
Exactly, and that's the one thing I learned this year was, things in life were loud. There was a lot of people saying a lot of things. With the Abjay, and with the Axine vein, but they're both the same thing. Like a lot of people had that, like their own thoughts, and there were so many voices, and it was becoming so loud. But I believe that once you come to that peaceful place, in your environment, you can get a lot more out of yourself. Like when you get to that peaceful place. So yeah, I was only sharing this because a big takeaway that I learned was that, for me, people would question like, why are you so, I want to say perfect, even though they think I am. It's like, no, I'm not perfect. It's just that I just tend to do the right things, and the reason why I do is because I make the right choices.
Yeah.
But like people don't understand though is that when it comes to my personal life, people don't understand that there's like millions of thoughts and voices that I'm not saying I'm cuckoo or like, schizo, you know what I mean? Like, I'm quite, content, but there's so much thoughts happening. There's so much, other people's voices that I'm listening to. And there was one thing I learned from my coach, which I'll share to, and I think I shared it to you already, that, you know how people say, you're the average five people, right? Yeah. You're the average 5 people that you hang around with. Well, my coach said this, that it's not necessarily the people that you hang around with, it's the average 5 voices, right? It's the average voices that you are allowing yourself to listen to. So it's not just the hanging out, it's because you can tune out the other people. Yeah. Right? You can tune, like if you don't see value in someone, you're not going to listen to them. But if you do see value in them, you are going to listen to them. And so this year I just learned like a real big lesson that like, this whole year was just all about personal development and developing myself, but getting myself ready for 2022. Yeah. Like for me, and one of the goals that I remember, like I shared it to you when we were down on a hike, which was I want to get a team. Like I want to start doing, like I want to do 75 hard together with other people, not just by myself. I already did it by myself. I've done the whole program by myself. Why not just get some other people on? Yeah. So yeah, I'm really excited for 2022. But I'm really excited for us. That's for sure.
Keen, bro. I'm keen. And let's wrap this. Wrap this podcast up, bro. Nah, thank you for making the trip up here. You're welcome to God's country anytime, bro. We'll definitely have to go on a lot more hikes because I'm glad you actually enjoyed it. That made my day knowing that I could show you a spot and you got value from it. So
no, I did, bro. Thank you so much, man. I really do appreciate it. I've got to answer that question that you asked, which was, I needed this more than you did. Yeah. And the reason why I say that is because I understand how it feels to be on that seat. I know how it feels to be on that mic, even though they're the same mic, right? But I know how it feels to be on the special seat, which I don't necessarily believe is a special guest seat. I believe that's the special seat right there. And I know how it feels because I've done the same road as you, and so I understand that as a podcast host, there's a lot of struggles that we go through. There's a lot of struggles that you specifically go through, and it's great for me to be on the opposite side of the chair. Yeah, because it allows me to realize that seat that you're sitting on is very important, and sometimes we tend to forget that because we're just in the moment. Like we're thinking about editing this video, the microphone, pressing the record button. But in hindsight, like at the end of the day, we do need to ensure, and every podcast, if there's any podcasters out there that are listening to this, understand that your chair is very important. There's so much value in that chair.
Without that chair, there's no podcast.
Exactly. Right? And that's the reason why I'm saying that, like, honestly, bro, I needed this more than you did. Or, sorry, not more than you did, but more than you think. Yeah. You're probably thinking like, oh, yeah, this is going to add value for Josh. And it's like, no, I got more value, even just being in God's country, all right? Like, just hanging around with you and stuff. Yeah. But, yeah, I just want to say, man, like, I'll say it for next year, bro. understand that chair that you're sitting on is gonna like. I just want you to know, bro, that like that seat that you're sitting on is valuable. There are gonna be times where you don't want to sit on the chair.
It's only a Kmart chair, bro. It's not that valuable.
But it's you. You make it valuable, bro. When you touch it, it's valuable. I don't even want to sit on it, bro.
Oh.
But yeah, I thought I'd just finish up with that, man. Like, I understand, bro, that 2022, the seat that you're sitting on, bro, is going to be valuable.
Yeah.
Yes, this chair is valuable. Yes, the Zoom calls, right, that you're having with other people is going to be valuable. But just always understand, bro, that you are valuable. Because there is times where we don't feel like that. We just feel like, yeah, we're just doing it because, you know, this is what we do. But you're valuable, man.
Nah, thank you, man. I'm grateful. Keen for next year, bro.
Keen, bro.
Podcast, everything, what we're doing, it's gone to a whole new fucking level, bro. Let's go. And as I said, you're welcome back anytime. We'll definitely have to go on more hikes. And yeah.
Keen, bro.
Keen, bro. For all the listeners, hope you should have got some value out of this. There's so many nuggets. So many nuggets. And, you know, going into 2022, if you need help planning, goal setting, whatever, message both of us. We're happy to help where we can. Set some goals, work towards them, and you'll be amazed what you can achieve, But yeah, thank you once again. Let's go. 2022 is going to be a big year.
Let's go.
See you in the next episode. You. My man.
Is that it?
That was it, bro.
That was it. Oh, bro.